this one, we're going to call this one the Squirm factor, because we're going to be putting the Squirm, making Governor Josh Shapiro squirm for the 2026 election, because he has a woman issue and he bristles and he makes downplays sexual harassment charges against him because the pro tempore is a woman, and he's got a woman issue going all the way back to his advisory council, and we're going to be putting a hurt on him come 2026 when I introduce you to some of the candidates that could be lieutenant governor for Stacy Garrity, because already Stacy Garrity's already made her bid for governor run against Josh Shapiro for governor, and that just puts just a little bit of hurting on him, not much. But when I share with you a couple of the ladies that could, a couple of the prospects that are ladies that are strong, independent women in the Senate and in the House, that you will be surprised. And I'm going to share some videos and I'm going to share some stuff with you, but this is where we put the things on here for you. So first of all, the first pick that we have is from Somerset County, Philadelphia, and her name is, she's a representative in the PA House. It is Martina White. Martina White is known to call out people and call out Democrats in the House, as well as call out District Attorney Larry Krasner as well. And I met Martina White back in 2020 at a Young Republicans for York County winter dinner. Awesome lady, awesome person. I'll share some clips of each of one of them here shortly. The second one I have up is, none other. The second one you might not know either is, her name is Natalie Malik. She is in Westmoreland in Washington County. Allegheny in Washington County. She is another great pick for lieutenant governor. She served in the Navy. She's also was an attorney, defense attorney, and is a bulldog. She is known for helping get out poisons in our food in Pennsylvania, and helping us eat clean. Then you have this lady here. We all know this lady here. This lady here is Kristen Phillips Hill. This lady here has the ability to question other people and make them look foolish by doing so, and calling out their own, and bringing out their own faults, but at the same time with sweetness and kindness. She is firm. She is strong. There's always been talk about her becoming either governor or lieutenant governor. Then you have fairly new to the scene from Fayette County, Charity Graham Krupa, and she is tenacious. She's a tenacious bulldog, and she's awesome. We're gonna play some courses there. So these are some of the picks that we could be putting. These are some of the candidates up that are possible candidates up for lieutenant governor candidate for Stacy Garrity to put a hurting on Josh Shapiro in 2026. If one of them steps up, these girls are tenacious bulldogs, and they are not afraid to step up. So with all due respect, we are going to get into it. Let's see. First, we're going to play Kristen Phillips Hill. If I can find any. Kristen Phillips Hill. There was plenty in here, but I guess I'm not seeing any from her. All right, so I guess we won't be playing Kristen Phillips Hill. Anyway, these are some of the people that are going to be that could be up for lieutenant governor position, and there could be also others. But like I said, Josh Shapiro has a woman problem, and he downplays it. In one of his videos, he downplayed it by when the interviewer or reporter mentioned to him about his advisor or legislative staff leaving so early because of sexual allegations or sexual harassment suit with a woman, and said, consider the source. When she's, because the source was Kim Ward, a strong, independent woman, and it was she's the pro tempore. So that is just the thing, guys. Look, if you really want to put a hurting on Josh Shapiro and win, when it is time that we got behind two women candidates, and it could be any of these four women candidates, or it could be whoever steps up and runs with him. But if you really want to put a hurting on Josh Shapiro because he's got a woman issue, this would be the perfect time. This would be the perfect time to do that. And get behind Stacy Garrity and a two-woman ticket. It'll be the first time ever done, but these are four beautifully strong women that will terrorize and put the heat on Josh Shapiro in 2026 election. In 26 election. See if I can find. So I don't have. We're going to. So we are going to play one from Charity Grimm. Oops, sorry, guys.
If you look at studies out of states like Colorado, where it's already been legalized, for every dollar that marijuana has generated, it's something like $4.50 in cost to society. And that's everything from increased traffic accidents, increased DUIs, homelessness, truancy, all the way down the line. The Pennsylvania House Republicans, we are prepared to fight for a fiscally conservative budget. We are against the crazy tax increases that are going to result from the governor's proposal. We're going to come to the table and we're going to do our best to make sure that the citizens of the Commonwealth are getting what they deserve, and that's fiscal responsibility.
Better one for you. You can hear her speak. Oh.
significant ways in which the department failed to follow even its own rules?
The fact that they didn't follow their own rules. The fact that
There we go.
Your recent audit of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, DCNR, uncovered troubling issues with the grant award process. Can you elaborate on the most significant ways in which the department failed to follow even its own rules?
The fact that they didn't follow their own rules. The fact that their rules were circumvented. And whenever you have, every department has rules, policies, and internal controls in place. And you may hear me talk about internal controls because they're extremely important with regards to government operating properly. But when you either don't follow or you circumvent the internal controls, that's when problems start to happen. That's when things are missed, and that's when outside influences can enter in.
Right, so that was just a taste. That was just a taste of Charity Graham talking, and now we will go on to let's see if we can find Natalie. Oops, no, it's not one moment. So anyway, why it's here you go. Here's one. So we'll go here.
In 2020, the Pennsylvania Department of Health issued its first guidance to nursing homes regarding COVID-19. I specifically want to draw your attention to the admission language in the order that states, nursing care facilities must continue to accept new admissions and for COVID-19. And this was made immediately applicable to all nursing facilities in Pennsylvania, even though at that time, none of them had a dedicated COVID unit. Just 2 days ago at a press conference, Governor Wolf, in response to a question from the Altoona Mirror, specifically on the March 18th order, said that this is not something the Commonwealth in any capacity said that we should do. We also know that from testimony from Secretary Torres that the Department of Aging was not consulted prior to the issuance of this order. So who was behind this decision to issue the order to have nursing homes accept COVID positive patients?
Thank you, Representative. I appreciate that. So the department was following the guidance of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, our federal regulator, and the federal regulator truly of nursing homes as well. We've been working with them throughout the pandemic response, and at that point, CMS had really put forth guidance really reflective of the fact that folks were very worried about our hospitals being able to actually withstand what was the oncoming surge of COVID-19.
Okay, so ma'am, who was behind the decision to issue the order?
The order is a Secretary of Health. It's guidance issued by the department, and so the Secretary of Health, but also in consultation with all of the deep bench of scientists that we have here at the department, were the ones who issued the guidance in following the CMS guidance at the federal level.
Well, no, because the federal guidance, if you're following federal guidance, then no separate order is needed. You would just simply say to the nursing homes, we're following federal guidance on this one. It would be less confusing for everybody than to issue a new order. But that's not what the Department of Health did. They issued an order on March 18th that differed from federal guidance, that was more strict, that demanded that COVID positive patients be put back into the nursing homes among the most vulnerable to the population. We knew from those early cases, before we had any cases here in the United States, we were following in Europe what was going on, and the people who were dying, the most vulnerable to the virus, were the people that are in our nursing homes. They're our seniors, the most vulnerable. And what did we do? We issued an order on March 18th directing that vulnerable population to accept COVID of patients. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of who is behind that decision and why.
Sure. So I'll start by saying that our guidance, while may have been clearer, was not different from the federal guidance. But Executive Deputy Secretary Klein-Peter, do you want to speak to the detail on that?
Well, it was different from the federal guidance, and I'm gonna pull it up. The federal guidance that was in place at that time would have come from CMS on March 13th, and it states, and just so we're on the same page here, I'll just go.
So that was one. See if you can find one from 2024. All right, so we can't find one from 2024, so we'll find the next one. Here we go. So, let me do this real quick.
I'm State Representative John Taylor, Chairman of the House Transportation Committee and member of the Philadelphia delegation. I am joined here today by my colleague Martina White, as well as the House leadership team. A candidate by the name of Lucinda Little, and put the resources that we could muster moving on throughout the day. The election was a special election. Illegalities at the polling place in Philadelphia that
I guess I'm going to show Martina.
by the election officials with a candidate's name. No, the stamp and
All right, so it's going to show Martina White on this one. What was this? Here we go. Here's the one. The one here. I don't know why it's not playing. Why is it playing? All right, so anyway, since I can't get Martina White to come up to or make her statement, Martina White is one that called out Larry Krasner, district attorney for district attorney for Philadelphia for crime in the streets and whatnot. She's another good one, but this is where, like I said, these are the candidates that one of the four candidates out of the ones that need to be picked would be good candidates for Stacy Garrity to run with. So, but they don't get to run together. In Pennsylvania, lieutenant governor and governor are run separately and chosen by the voters. So whoever gets the most votes actually votes for lieutenant governor, despite you wanting one over the other. It's a mix and match game, and so that's what happens when that's what happens here in Pennsylvania, and that's in 2026. The other thing that we have coming up in 2026 is state committee races, state committee elections, county committee elections, state house elections, and Senate elections, and so forth. But we also have one coming up shortly for Supreme Court judges, where Supreme Court judges need to be vacated because they're corrupt and they're criminal. They have overturned sexual predators convictions. They have shredded election integrity, and so forth. The other thing is, I want to clear the air here, is that we cannot have Doug Mastriano anywhere near the ticket, because Doug Mastriano lost 14% to Josh Shapiro and led us to a huge majority. In fact, this is another thing I wanted to show you. I think this is what it would look like if Stacy Garrity won. A huge impact. Right now, Garrity won over. This is Garrity over Cleveland, a Democrat, in the primary, and so forth. So that is one fact. I'm going to show you another one here, if I can bring it up, on Josh Shapiro. All right, so we'll get rid of this. So we'll get rid of that one. This is how bad Josh Shapiro really is. This is by retweeted by PAGOP 1 year ago. Stacy Garrity's Democrat opponent for treasurer Aaron McClelland called out Josh Shapiro for sweeping sexual harassment under the rug. She didn't mince words. Now we're watching Shapiro's administration actively stonewall questions about its handling of it. It says, I want a VP pick that's secure enough to be vice president pick that's secure enough to be second under a woman, is content to be VP and won't undermine the president to maneuver his own election and doesn't sweep sexual harassment under the rug. I want someone that can speak to rural voters. That is Rory Cooper, North Carolina. So there's that for you. The other thing I wanted to show you is, excuse me, what's my nose? See if I find it. This right here. So while it's loading here, this one I'm going to pull up real quick is another one for you. Bingo. This is Josh Shapiro is a fraud. Pushed COVID lockdown tyranny as AG, not a friend to families who want better education, wants to cut the private parts off of children. This man wants the White House. Mark my words. We have to stop him here in PA. So, that's from Cliff Mahoney from what's it called? PA Chase. Then there was another one I wanted to show you. Now I'm going to show you a comparison to Doug Mastriano and Josh Shapiro. Bingo. A comparison in 2024, even though that he did get more Doug Mastriano did get a lot of states that were red, and there was some more blue. But if Stacy Garrity wins, there's going to be more red than there is blue. And the states, as I showed you before, back, and then this guy wrote it here. I don't know if I have it. So this one is another tweet from our X post from a guy that commented. And that says, she got more votes than Shapiro. It all comes down to one factor: turnout. Exactly. It comes down to turnout, guys. In 2026, if you don't show up, I've been saying this over and over and over again, that we need to turn out the vote. In the municipal primary this election, it was a 10.64% voter turnout in York County. I'm not sure what it was statewide, but in York County, it was a pathetic, egregious, and sloppy 10.64% voter turnout. We need to vote early, and vote in person. No more mail-in ballots. We need to get rid of them. And go back to hand-counted paper ballots. Get rid of the machines, and so forth. But like I said, these are the candidates that we need to. The four candidates I showed you are some good prospect candidates that could help put a hurting on Josh Shapiro in 2026. This is where we put the squirm on him, because he doesn't like a strong, independent woman. He squirms, he wiggles, he squirms, he wiggles, he bristles, whatever you want to call it. He's got woman issues and so forth. In fact, he's even sent his union heads from the building and trades union, and threatened them. And I can bring that up for you. There you go. It says, make no mistake, if Garrity chooses to run for governor against our friend and champion of working women and men, Governor Josh Shapiro, the full force of our members and resources will be deployed to defeat her efforts. While Governor Shapiro spends every day championing working families, growing infrastructure investment, expanding apprenticeship opportunities, and building on our energy independence, Stacy kowtows to Trump publicly, and championing the Deconstruct a federal budget bill that will decimate energy projects that were a lifeline for thousands of trade jobs and across the Commonwealth. Clearly, Stacy doesn't understand what the working people of Pennsylvania need from their governor. That's evident by her continued praise of this bill that will threaten tens of thousands of energy jobs. Should Treasurer Garrity make the foolish decision to challenge our governor, she will never again have the support of the Philadelphia building trades, not even for the county. And now I'll show you the next one. I think it's this one. Oops, that's the one. There we go. There it is. Says Senate Republican caucus women call on Governor Shapiro to denounce Philadelphia building trades leader statement. The Senate Republican caucus women members condemn Philadelphia building trades business manager Ryan Boyer for demanding an intimidating statement about State Treasurer Stacy Garrity. It says intimidation is a form of harassment. Form of harassment, and the statement that he issued crossed the line. We are calling on Governor Josh Shapiro to denounce this harassing and demeaning rhetoric from his ally. It is clear the statement posted on Facebook was intended to bully Treasurer Stacy Garrity from getting into the race for governor, but we know Stacy has decorated U.S. Army combat veteran who doesn't scare easily and doesn't back down. It makes sense that the governor and his surrogates are fearful of Stacy Garrity running for governor. They don't want that because her service to our country, Stacy's record as a state treasurer has demonstrated a record of success for our Commonwealth throughout her time as state treasurer. She has protected more than $170 billion in state assets and encouraged a strong rainy day fund to protect hardworking Pennsylvanians from tax increases. This is a stark contrast to Democrats who have advocated to spend down our rainy day fund, which will result in a large tax increase in the near future. As an elected officials, we respect the First Amendment and differences of opinions, but we have zero tolerance for using tactics of intimidation. So there's that. There's that for you. Stacy Garrity is not even in office, and she is being attacked left and right by the Democrats and Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro is scared. He's scared by Stacy Garrity and another woman that could run with him. He's scared. He's scared, and he squirms. And he's got an issue with women, and this is the way that threaten him and make his life difficult. This is the way we go. We go with a 2-woman ticket on a 2026 gubernatorial election for Lieutenant Governor and Stacy Garrity as governor. The other thing I wanted to show you is on Doug Mastriano. When Doug Mastriano had lost the race, he still had $1.1 million in his campaign finance. Winners go home with nothing. Losers lose it all, as my friend would say, and leave it all. Winners leave everything on the table, and he did not do that. He's not a winner, and he's out for himself. I can't say it enough, but I'm going to show you just exactly. Look at this right here. If you can see it, it says and highlighted. He had exactly $1.1 million in his campaign finance and so forth in 2022. Stacy Garrity is definitely a winner, a certified winner for this race, because in my opinion, she beat Josh Shapiro's 2022 votes with 3.9 million votes in 2024, which I'm on the ticket. She's even beat him in 2020. She's even gotten on the ticket without Trump in 2020 when she ran against an incumbent. And Trump wasn't on the ticket. So, and she's got the popularity. She's traveling the states, up and down the states, and going to different events at the time. Right now, she is still doing the exact same thing. Last night, she was at the county. I think it was the county commissioners something um, party or whatever it was program. And so Stacy Garrity is a proven chosen winner for this, and we got to get behind them. It's the only way that we can beat Josh Shapiro in this race. And so we need to continue to do that. And again, I'm going to show you one other thing. Let me pull it up for you guys. The goal here is this. If you can see it, every Republican Party precinct committeeman slot filled by a volunteer America Firster. Much greater turnouts of America First voters. Primary plus general election America First winners. America First winners and state legislators plus governors equals hand-counted paper ballots, no machines, mail ballots only for military and invalids, small precincts, one-day voting elections. This is the goal right here. America First state legislators and governors. If we get Stacy Garrity in, if we get a majority in the House back in, America Firsters can equal hand-counted paper ballots, no machines, mail ballots only for military invalids and small precincts, and one-day elections. Why is that? Because the PA House, the state legislators make legislation and amendments to House bills that could allow for mail-in, that could allow for hand-counted paper ballots and small precincts, and no more mail-in ballots. All ballots we can change it here, right here in the state, if we get the majority of people in 2026. But that also goes back to 2025 upcoming election, that we need to kick out the corrupt criminal judges, so we can have a majority Republican judges in the Supreme Court to rule constitutionally on mail-in ballots and hand-counted paper ballots, and no machines. So with that being said, we need to have at least a 40 to 50% voter turnout in 2025 in order to vacate these corrupt criminal judges and deconstruct the courts and get a majority in 2027 when we have a special election. That goes for also getting in Maria Batista and Matt Wolford. But like I said, this is how we put a hurting on the Democrats. This is how we put a hurting on Josh Shapiro and the liberals and so forth. This is how we deconstruct the administrative state, how we deconstruct the courts, how we fight, how we get back what was taken from us in 2020, and how we bring the fight to the deep state and get behind get behind Stacy Garrity and whoever the other woman so shall be, or whoever the lieutenant governor should be. But these are the great candidates. There's always been talk about Kristen Phillips Hill being governor or lieutenant governor. But if you go through Martina White's videos, if you go through Natalie's videos, if you go through Charity Grimm's videos, they are powerful, independent, strong women that will wreck Josh Shapiro's world, and so forth. So there you have that. But that is the other thing that needs to be said. We need to get behind Stacy Garrity 110%. We need to get behind whoever you choose to pick for lieutenant governor. But this is how we get behind them. and this is how we do it. So we need to do that. So because every day is going to be a fight for our Commonwealth and a fight for our country, a fight for our republic, and people need to stay involved. These judges shut down your schools, shut down your churches, shut down your businesses, chose winners and losers for essential businesses to stay open, shredded your election integrity, denied that there was no evidence of fraud in the 2020 Trump campaign election, and turned their noses to the evidence and walked away and didn't serve the people. They get a catalytic pension plans. The longer they stay in office, the bigger their paychecks get. They overturn sexual predators convictions, and so forth. They voted to extend the mail-in ballots 3 days past Election Day in 2020. They voted to kick off the Green Party in 2020 off the ballot. They don't care about democracy. These are the people that don't care about democracy and say that we don't care about them, but we're destroying democracy. They voted for Tom Wolf to shut down your schools and your churches and everything else. But it's time to get involved, guys. It's time to take back what is ours. It's time to fight for your country. These sickos don't deserve to be in another 10 years. And Josh Shapiro is another one of those sickos as well. Sickos as well for the sexual harassment charges against him and so forth. And the cover up, and he covered it up with $292,000 in a settlement lawsuit, and downplays it. He's got a problem with women, and he knows he's got a problem with women, and it's going to be hurting come 2026 when Stacy Garrity whoops his ass in the general election, and picks a good lieutenant governor candidate. So we need to continue to stay involved and vote in every single election, guys. Vote in every single election. So that's all I have for you for tonight.